I used to be the perfect housewife, devoted to my husband Frank for 7 years. I was so loyal I'd cross the street to avoid other men, but then I found out he was cheating on me. Tears streaming down my face, I confronted Frank with a list of 102 women he cheated with. Why did you betray me? I demanded. He coldly replied, you're too pure, there's no passion in our life. Later, I faked my own death to escape. Once I was free, I stopped pretending. I immediately took my Ferrari out for a spin and hired 99 male models. As I finished singing a silly song, I was passionately kissing one of the models when we locked eyes with someone at the door. I gave a flirtatious smile. Hi there, ex-husband. Frank leaned casually against the doorframe, saying nothing as the flickering lights cast eerie shadows. Annoyed at being stared at, I whispered in the model's ear, taking a dig at Frank, when someone greets you, you should respond. That's just basic human decency, otherwise, you're not even human. The model's ear turned red from my warm breath. He gave Frank a challenging look. Twinkle twinkle little star. The next silly song I'd picked started playing. I wrapped my arms around the model, about to kiss him again. Frank finally spoke, his face dark, hiring male models, 99 of them. I turned to look at him with an innocent expression. Is there a problem, Dr. Harrison? Frank's eyes grew cold, a mocking smile on his lips. You're really going wild, aren't you? The guys with Frank started teasing. Sis, if you'd been this wild before, you and Frank wouldn't have split up. Yeah, you gotta spice things up to get through the 7-year itch. I firmly held down the model, Miles, who was getting angry and wanted to stand up. I slowly sipped my wine, lost in thought. I used to be a free-spirited woman years ago. I fell for Frank's image as a selfless doctor saving lives. I went to great lengths to find out he had a pure, gentle ex who died young. For years he'd remained faithful to her memory. I knew then that he was the one. I forced myself to rein in my outgoing personality and played the perfect wife for Frank for 7 years. And what did those 7 years get me? Messages on his phone, flirting and hooking up with countless sexy women, and his cold words to me, no passion. Even someone as strong as me couldn't help but tremble remembering it. Only I knew how deeply I had loved Frank for those 7 years, and only I knew that the seemingly perfect man was rotten to the core. I felt like such a fool. Miles gently held my waist and whispered, Lily, are you that shaken? I sighed softly, ready to rally, but then I heard Frank's impatient mockery. Are you two planning to get a room? This is a bar, not a hotel. We don't allow indecent behavior in respectable establishments. I emerged from Miles' embrace and gave Frank a faint smile. Young people date and hook up. Is there something wrong with two single people getting to know each other? Dr. Harrison, you're so old-fashioned. I watched the man's chest heave with anger, his eyes dark. Lily, you dash. I lifted my chin proudly and pulled out a wad of cash, stuffing it into Miles' jacket pocket. How about I buy you for the night, handsome? Miles pressed his forehead to mine, his voice low. What do you want to do? I winked playfully, ignoring Frank as I pulled Miles towards the dance floor. Dance with me. The pulsing music shook the wild crowd. I smirked at Miles' stiff movements in front of me. You really don't dance like someone who works here as a model. Miles gritted his teeth and glared at me threateningly. Lily, I would never come to a place like this if you hadn't called me. I laughed and pulled Miles closer by his shirt, lightly touching his lips. I called you to act, but you're taking advantage. We're even now. Miles' eyes flashed red as he smacked my hand away, his mood darkening. Lily, can't you behave? Didn't you fake your death to get away from Frank forever? Why come to the bar he owns? I fell silent. Seeing my reaction, Miles' voice softened. Do you regret it? Do you still love him? I stiffened, my smile fading. After I left Frank, I never planned to see him again, and certainly didn't expect to run into him here. Damn, who knew this bar was his? I had just come out of the bathroom when I overheard Frank talking to his low-life friends. Bro, I found some hot new girls for you. Wanna meet them? You've been cooped up at the hospital ever since Lily disappeared. You look awful. You need some fun. Separated by just a wall, I was shocked. Frank knew I had faked my death. How's Lily been lately? Frank inhaled deeply on his cigarette, slowly exhaling. She went to the gym the day before yesterday and pretended to be weak to hook up with a muscular trainer. Yesterday she went to a wine tasting and accidentally spilled wine on a sexy